Yep. So he's just I don't have a timeline, but it's just like a big guy. I think taking it just a little bit slower with a big guy at that position to make sure it doesn't come back and bite him later on.
Phillips going to Rockford, is that a sign Martinez is almost ready? Or?
Yeah, I think that just making the decision for the road trip. Marty's he's gonna go on the ice again today as well. He should be practice on Wednesday, and coming on the trip is what we got the word last night. That should be the plan, and that's why Philly had really the message was really clear. He really made a step, and those two games, especially the first two games, were really excellent. And just to go down and continue to do that. It's no good to kind of be in and out of the lineup or sitting out for a long period of time here when he's making those strides. It's the more reps is important. So it was good, like good message, and hopefully he can go down and just continue and get another opportunity.
Is Anthony going on waivers today?
He's going on waivers, today. So that will be probably known by tomorrow at noon or 1 or whatever time that is.
What factor in that?
Just, I think with his injury last year, that kept him out a lot of last year. He missed a lot of hockey then, and unfortunately, just not clicking on all cylinders yet this year, not in the lineup that much. He hasn't really played a lot of games. So that was the message, we just, if you get picked up, that's probably good for you. That means you'll be playing in the NHL, but if not, we need him just to go play some games and get his skill matched up with his confidence, and this league's really not for that, so that was that message.
Have you talked to him? Like, does he seem open about playing?
Yeah, I don't think it even got to that point. I think it's really, that's what you have to do, and that's sometimes not fun and easy to hear, but I think when people go through the hard ways back to getting where they want to be, or just going through the hard way the first time to get where you want to be, it's pretty gratifying and satisfying. But I think sometimes when the first news of that, when you're not used to going through that as an NHL player, it's tough to take for sure.
I know last year you dealt with so many injuries at the beginning of the season that it was easy to just get guys in the lineup. Has the coaching part of it been tough to get everyone a fair shot where you don't want guys sitting too long because everyone's been healthy so far?
Yeah, that's the part of the job that sucks the most, and I definitely know what it feels like, but that still doesn't really come into factor for that person that has to hear it. They don't care if you've gone through it or understand it. It's their turn, and it's no fun. And yeah, it was total opposite of last year. Last year we're trying to find bodies, and this year we're trying to find ice time. And it's a good problem to have, but it's never fun and never easy. And you want to try and get a rhythm going. And sometimes you don't want to break guys' rhythms, but you don't want to lose someone else for too long, because that's not good either. So there's that fine line of trying to balance that. And there's certain guys that are just, at a certain level in this league that don't come out of the lineup, so it makes your choices even tighter, and that's difficult as well.
But aren't they been getting chances? It seemed like maybe just low shooting percentage, kind of explained it. But the last few games, it seems like the chances have been fewer, especially 5-on-5. What have you seen?
Maybe a little bit of a couple of scenarios. One is a really good team yesterday, and it was a tight checking game. All game. I think both teams have played a lot of hockey, a lot of road hockey, a lot of travel. So I think it was just, that chess match until, we got the lead, and then they had to open it up a little bit, and we might not have handled it as great as we wanted to in the third, but they're a good team. They came at you hard. So that probably plays into a factor. And, I think we just, just got to have to play it simple. Sometimes even the most skilled guys have to just go up and down in straight lines and shoot pucks, and then you're going to get your opportunities that way. And even just like on our goal, it was typical checking line goal. They rim it in hard, they forecheck hard on the defenseman, and there's a bad bounce off his stick, and we get the puck and just drive the net and shoot. I think that's even our overtime goal, just a straight line rush. Seth did a good job, as most forwards would do, driving the net to hold the defender on the inside a little bit to give Kershey enough room to shoot it. I think that's when you don't have goals and you're used to scoring goals, I think you have to simplify and just go straight lines and shoot pucks and get some rebounds, and then that pushes the defense back, and then sometimes you have a little bit more room after that.
Yeah, do you think it's him and Reichel feeling out each other at all?
Yeah, and you know, I mean, I think that's been moving around a little bit too. So different guys on your line, it's hard to get the continuity, but we're trying to get everybody in sync. And sometimes we have to take someone off a line to help another line, and then sometimes that disrupts the flow of things as well. So and it's not just Connor's line; that's every line. So you know what, we'll tinker around. We have a few days now to kind of figure that out before the road trip, and then again we have to figure out a lineup that's going to work better on the road because we don't have the last change as well.
I was going to ask about that. I mean, last year he spent 73% of his minutes with Kurashev, and this year his most common line mate is Teravainen at like 57%, and that's going down because he's not even with Teravainen right now. So do you need to find some more stability for him in terms of who he's playing with?
No, I think, well, it's our job to do that, but I think what I mean, as a player, you have to find a way to get pucks to the net, no matter who you play with, and that's your job, and it's our job to find out who maybe works the best in whatever scenario. But you know, Kershey probably had a slower start to the season than he would like, but last night I know he did some video with the coaches this week and worked on with the skills coach on some certain aspects of his game, and I think he took a step last game. I think it wasn't just his goal in overtime. I think his overall game was much better, so then maybe that gets him back with Connor and even Tabo and sometimes maybe Nick. You know, I mean, I think there's a rotation there depending on what we need against a certain team. And that might be a good thing. They might be excited to be back together, and they had some good chemistry last year and some good success. So it's something definitely to look at for sure.
I guess what I meant with that is, do you think it would help Connor to have more consistent line mates? Do you not want to just waste games?
No, I think you know, I mean, he has to find that consistency no matter who he's playing with. But we do have to look at like the numbers and see, you know, who he's played well with, and just like everybody else, and maybe go back to that and try it. So, you know, I mean, it's definitely in the bingo machine today about what's going to go really well and work well against probably a good skating team as well in Seattle, and then going into a really strong team in Vancouver. So we have to kind of look at that and see who's going to have the most success with who against those two teams. And it's just a short picture. It's not really the long version right now, because I think that'll settle itself out like it kind of did last year. I think, you know, Kershey ended up being there most of the second half of the year, and you know, once we had some injuries, it kind of forced us to do that. But then I think it kind of worked well. He's just a straight line guy, and he plays the right way every shift. Like he does a lot of good things, even on the goal. You know, I mean, he's in on the forecheck to kind of put pressure on the defenseman to turn the puck over. He doesn't get really an assist on it, but he does in our eyes because he does the right things, and great penalty killer. And he's just an upbeat guy on the bench. Like, he brings guys with him, like, to whether we have a bad shift, like we had that tough one at the end of the second period. Like, he's one of the positive guys on the bench. Like, hey guys, we got through that. Let's get on to the next. Let's pick it up and go. Or if he has a chance to be that next guy on the ice, he does it by action. So it kind of brings people along with him. So he's just a good upbeat player for a coach to rely, and he's so reliable that, you know, we're sometimes he's so easy to have in the room and on the bench that you kind of take it for granted as a coach, but you know, we don't. When we look at the game after, it's like clockwork. It's really consistent, and that's what we're looking for as a team. So that's the more guys that can follow him and do that, the game plan every single shift gives us a chance to have success like we did at the end last night.
Here, but it'll be Connor's first time playing in front of close to hometown crowd and everything. What does that mean to a player, that especially that first game close to home? And
yeah, no, it's big, and I think you know, we kind of forget, like, it's his second year, but he missed that Western trip last year, and I think he'll be pumped. I think we've seen it in the past. He's had great games in Edmonton. He's had great games against you know, the big teams, whether it be Colorado or Pittsburgh, where there's an extra light shining on it. And you know, I think he's I think he's modest and humble and just likes to play his own game. He doesn't really look too much at that extra attention. I think he's used to it, and but I think he kind of thrives off it a little bit. So I'm looking forward to him having a really good game there and getting better shot quality chances just because he's got maybe a little extra step in his jump in his step there that night. That'll be fun.